Welcome back to Teachable Moments with April podcast. I am your host, April. So I want to share a little tidbit, take a break in between the statistics and information, and share something from the article about Cody. It says, to an outsider, Cody seems like any other 14-year-old boy. Okay, so this is when he's 14-year-old. Okay, he's soft-spoken around strangers and spends his free time playing with his baby sister. Look at that. Hunting with his dad and building things outside in the family's wood shop in their modest rural home near Granada Lake. He aspires to be an underwater welder. Look at that. Like his father. Oh, okay. But from a young age, Cody has struggled to manage his anger. He has outbursts when he argues with others, and especially with other children. If he is touched while angry, yeah, you got to be very careful with that. With doing that. The proximity of how close you are, touching them, and so forth and so on. And they even have a hypersensitivity to the type of clothing that they wear, if it has tags, what it's made of. That can agitate them and make them very irritable as well. He tries to get away, even if that means hitting someone else. Okay. His parents say he especially tends to clash with bullies, which can spiral into heated fights. The sad thing is that a lot of times they are the prime targets of bullies. So it's like it's this catch-22 here. It's like, okay, they're different, and people can tell that they are different, and then they are targeted, and those are some of the triggers is being bullied or feeling like you're being laughed at, and you're actually and sadly being teased. Triggers them. I mean, that's anybody, you know. So I want to share something else about Cody and Cody's parents. Cody's parents said they were torn since they knew he may not be ready to handle a large class, but they didn't want him to be isolated. That's always been one of the hurdles, is being isolated. And I know how people may feel based on their behaviors and everything. Oh, it's so frustrating. Okay, in April this year, they agreed to keep him at home, but they said his education now consists of him spending most of his days alone, teaching himself the material that is sent home from school. When teachers at Granada Middle School wanted to move him on to 8th grade this year, his parents argue that he has missed too much school and has not learned enough to move on. This year, Cody is repeating 7th grade. What they're doing now is not providing him with an education, says Bobby Jo Beck, which is Cody's stepmother. Oh, okay. She said she fears that if he doesn't learn how to interact with others and control his anger and his temper, future incidents could lead to more arrest and jail time. It's so tricky, which is something she sees frequently at her job as a nurse at a county jail. At a county jail. And it says, you know what his stepmother said? It scares me, and I don't want that to happen to him. And I'm going to share yet another tidbit here, or a piece of this puzzle. It says, this is from one of the people that are from Cody's school. Our ultimate goal for our child, and every child, is to be in their least restrictive environment and to earn a traditional diploma. But for some children, that may not be a realistic goal. You see? Now, the article goes further and it says, after an arrest, many students lose valuable learning time and fall even further behind, while others become a frequent fixture in youth courts and a patchwork system of detention centers. youth jails, and alternative schools for education. A 2006 study showed that and found that for all students, a first-time arrest during high school nearly doubles the odds of that student dropping out, while a court appearance nearly quadruples the odds of dropping out. Now, here's some additional information about Cody Beck. After his arrest, Cody's team of special education teachers and school officials decided to send him to the Mill Creek Day Treatment Center, a privately run facility in the northwest Mississippi town of Batesville, which is accredited by the state of Mississippi as a special non-public school. There, Cody's parents say he was mixed with a lot of problem kids and the school work wasn't challenging. Cody said he was frequently given worksheets and word searches. One of his assignments as a 7th grade student was to read and complete a 68-page packet called How I Learned to Control My Temper, which is written at a low elementary level and tells the story of a boy who learns different ways to handle his temper. It includes several pages of activities like drawing pictures and playing tic-tac-toe. Megan Williams, a therapist at Mill Creek, that the school provided for a comment, said that although she can't speak about any former or current students, there's obviously confidentiality in question here, of course. She guesses the packet was not from the teacher, but from the therapist. At Mill Creek, Cody had daily access to a special education teacher and a therapist. Regarding the classwork, Williams said that each classroom is different, and she was not able to speak about the academic program at the facility. In dozens of daily reports sent home by Mill Creek, Cody's behavior seemed to improve, although there were still a few behavioral incidents that resulted in time out of school. For several stretches of time, he received perfect or near perfect scores for respecting others, following directions, and his individual goals to stay positive, which is something that I can relate to too. And I think this is the usual fare. Even as adults that I worked with, you had like a merit system, and you found by getting to know them and connecting with them what interests them, what they were interested in, what would motivate them, something that they would be willing to work towards that would, make sense, right? Everybody's working towards something. We had like client of the week, in which they would win prizes, their privileges. At one time we did, I remember they would ask them all, what's their favorite restaurant, and they would, earn the ability to go and get lunch if they did all the things they needed to do to motivate them. Everybody needs motivation, and it's something to aspire to, and just, healthy competition and whatnot. And I would see where that would help. On several reports, teachers commented that Cody did all classwork and ignored negativity. Then it said after an incident last October, however, Mill Creek referred Cody to a behavioral treatment center in Tennessee. When he was released, his father and stepmother asked the school district to move Cody back to school, to the public school, where they wanted him to receive more challenging work. Instead, of course, school officials offered to put him on, which we already found out on a homebound program where he would complete work sent home every day and spend 2 hours twice a week working with a teacher at a regular school. In the future, they said he could possibly transition back to the regular school. So it says here also, when you're talking about emotional or behavioral disabilities, we're really talking about kids with serious mental health needs, okay? And that was actually, this is just, looks like they just repeated a quote from Reese Peterson, which is a professor of special ed at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln.